Defining a competitive set has always been one of those painful and challenging exercises for me, as there are so many variables involved that might change over time and might change based on the way you look at them. Whether, for example, it's from a segmentation rather than a channel of distribution standpoint, or based on seasonality and demand. In the historical moment we are living, the demand is anything but stable. And as such, the term seasonality is really becoming obsolete in my view. So in order to get it right on who are our new competitors in this new post-COVID life, we should probably really go back at the traditional variables we used to look at when creating our competitive set, but challenge them a little bit and look at them with brand new eyes. Let's start from location, for instance. Traditionally, hotels tend to look at competitors sitting close to them. Meaning, if you're an hotel located in a city center, you probably used to have in your competitive set hotels that were located in your same area. However, what we are recording right now is a completely different trend in terms of demand. So for instance, hotels that are located in the outskirts are somehow receiving higher demand than the hotels located in the city center. As such, those hotels are becoming your competitors as well, because they are able to capture that demand that you would want to capture as well in this historical moment. So you should really broaden your view of who your competitors are in terms of distance, and include, if necessary, hotels that are located in the outskirts, in different cities, or why not in different destinations. Star rating and hotel service might have been a discrimination for choice up until 2019. But right now, there is one thing we are all sure about. Guests are looking for health and safety when it comes to deciding where to stay. So they want to make sure that the hotels they are staying at is taking all the precautions measures in order to make them feel secure. So you should really think about it and include as well in your potential competition also properties that you would not normally refer to as your competitors in the past. And if you are a hotel, alternative accommodation as well, if you haven't done so yet, and vice versa, of course. As we see that some guests that used to stay at hotels forever in the past are now, for this moment, slightly switching their preferences to alternative accommodation stays. This does not mean that they won't come back to your hotel in the future, but this is something you have to be aware of. When it comes to hotel size and facilities, they matter as long as there is a segmentation mix that makes them significant. One basic example is that if you're running a big conference hotel, you probably used to have in your competitive set hotels that were similar to you in terms of size, in conference, banquet, and meeting space. Unfortunately, right now you are not probably relying on conference business, and you won't probably rely on this kind of segmentation and business mix for quite a bit of time. So you really need to focus on who is your demand right now. And if you are, for example, just capturing leisure individual demand, this is the time you should look at who are the other hotels that are capturing the same demand, as there might be also little properties that have no conference space at all, but still are in your set of competitions because they're fishing in your same demand and in your same market at the moment. Price-wise, we're all experiencing heavy price drops on a global scale. So despite of the fact that we all tried to avoid repeating the same mistakes of the past crisis, it's inevitable and we have to face the reality that hotel prices are dropping. So potentially you have greater competition right now when you find yourself at the same rate level of upscale hotels that were not in your competitive set before, because all of the different reasons we discussed so far, but price being one of those. So yes, you have new competitors out there. When you see price dropping and they get on your same price level, they become your competition, as for sure you will be losing demand, at least for the short term, for some segments going to the competing properties. However, when this happens and before making your decisions in terms of pricing and what to do, please always consider your short-term return versus the long-term effects. as whatever decision you make on pricing today, yes, you have to be aware that you have a broader competition, but yes, you have to be aware also that every price decision will have a great impact in the long term. And so you really need to balance out what you want to do with your property, strategically thinking, and where you want to be in the future. Branded hotels and loyalty programs, are they changing my competition view or not? I don't think it changed a lot compared to the consideration that we did in the past. The only difference is that branded hotels have greater power of communication, they have economies of scale, so they have a much wider reach than an independent hotel. But for the rest, I think that everything that we talked about so far about some of the key variables that we used to look at when creating our compset, it's valid for both branded hotels and independents alike. So I'm sure that now you are thinking, after all of this, how many compsets do I have to create? How many competitors do I have to have? So the scope of the exercise is not like that. You have to remain true to who you are, stick to your reference compset, but at the same time, it's paramount important that you are aware that the competition that is out there at the moment is wider and broader. It's changing and evolving, and you have to keep track of these changing and evolutions and not to lose on any opportunity. So only if you keep focus on that, so put yourself in the customer's head, on the customer's shoes, but at the same time, you still wear your hotelier's hat, you will follow the right strategy, because you will not lose focus on who you are, where you want to be, where you want to go in the future, always keeping in mind that the short-term decisions are going to impact your long-term strategy. So only if you're clear on your core values, on your positioning, you will get out with a shared and clear strategy, working together with all the departments involved. You will get out of this crisis in the best possible way.